what is with the lackluster pee whoops lately? Are you okay? Lackluster pee whoops. Is there anything I can do to stop drooling while I sleep? Stop thinking about bear. That, in my medical world, I've seen that the most people drool because they think about bear. No, I would want to know why you're drooling. A lot of times people drool because they're mouth breathing and it has something to do with a blockage in the nose. And that could be something that's treatable with medications due to an allergy or something like that. Or it could be anatomical. There's polyps that can develop in that area. You can have a deviated septum. And as a result, you're constantly mouth breathing, which causes you to drool and wake up dry mouth, dry mucous membranes, discomfort. Your throat feels like sandpaper. You get sick more often. You don't get good quality sleep. You could have sleep apnea, you could snore. So breathing through your nose while you're sleeping is actually optimal. How can I make a scar disappear? There's different levels to this depending on how aggressive you want to be. The earlier you start intervening in the healing process, the better outcomes you're gonna get. And this starts with just keeping wounds covered as a start. That's a very important part of it. Also, depending on how open the wound is, will decide how bad the scar is. In some instances, it might be better to get your wound sutured, especially by someone who's like a plastic surgeon, if it's in a visible area. Next, you have some topical options. There are all sorts of different creams out there that can help with scars. The next level of it can be actually cosmetic procedures where you go in to see a dermatologist to get some laser treatments. And these laser treatments can actually resurface the skin, allowing the scar to look less visible. And then the final level is actually there's scar revision surgery, where uniquely, because of our vision, you could actually do a unique type of scar called a Z scar, where it tricks your eye into not seeing the scar. It's called a Z suture or a Z scar. Really cool stuff. In fact, Dr. Bonasali, who you've seen on this channel, has actually done a good amount of pro bono scar work, including one young boy who was attacked by a dog in protecting his little sister. And Dr. Bonasali had his scars go from this to this. Truly amazing work. Roy Henson, I've heard that if you have toenail fungus, peeing on your toes in the shower will kill the fungus. Is this true? No, it's not true. And actually toenail fungus is notoriously hard to get rid of. In fact, there are some topical antifungal medications that you could use. You have to use them for like a really long time. I'm talking basically a year. And even then, if you use it perfectly, it still may not work. But then if you go the oral route and you take oral antifungal medication, it is more likely to work, but then there are more likely chance of you having a side effect. How do I ensure healthy beard growth? I think it's about keeping the area well moisturized, clean. You really want to avoid folliculitis because that can damage a beard. But in reality, a lot of the supplements and miracle promises that exist for beard stuff literally just condition the actual hair. They don't actually facilitate healthier growth. I've actually struggled with my beard in the past because I've had kind of some patchy areas. And if you want me to, I have considered doing a hair transplant on my beard. I forgot where I have the little spot here. I was thinking about taking some facial hair from here and putting it here to complete my beard, not because I care at all what my beard really looks like at this point in my life, but I think it would be a cool experiment for you to see how we could actually transplant actual hair follicles from here to here. I was gonna do that a couple of years ago, but because I was boxing, I couldn't sweat for multiple weeks on end while this procedure was ongoing, so I couldn't do it. But if you want me to do it, let me know in the comments. Who would survive longer in the wild, you or bear? Me, easily. Even though I'm scared of insects and bugs and all that. No, don't do it, no! Bear's a chicken. I would know how to like run and hide and be a proper prey. I'm a good prey. He's bad prey. He'll like say what's up to the predators. Although he might be like one of those deer that become friends with the cheetah. I just got a new cat. She's really playful, but I'm afraid of getting hurt if she bites or scratches my hand really badly. Is there a real risk of that or am I overreacting? Okay, you're actually not overreacting. Cat bites can be really problematic. There was a Mayo Clinic study that showed 1 in 3 people that got bitten by a cat ended up getting hospitalized for it. 2/3 of the people that were hospitalized ended up needing surgery. The reason why I think cat bites are more problematic, unlike dogs who have these blunted teeth and larger teeth that cause a lot of bleeding, cat teeth are more pinpoint and sharp and go deeper. So they actually seed the bacteria deep inside the body, sometimes into the joint or into into the tendon sheath. And as a result, that bacteria gets trapped in there and spreads, causing a potential skin infection, cellulitis, into the joint, a septic arthritis, or worse off, spreading and seeding throughout the blood, causing a septicemia or sepsis. So the reason for that, and it's kind of similar to dog bites, is there's a bacteria in cats' mouths called Pasteurella. It's a serious bacteria that requires antibiotics. Don't sleep on cat bites. Also, there's cat scratch fever. There's even things from kitty litter and why we talk about pregnant women not changing kitty litter because of how problematic that could be. There's all sorts of cat-related illnesses. In fact, maybe I should do a whole video on that, but then the cat people will come for me. I drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. If I stop drinking for a day, get a headache, what can I do to stop the headaches? There is a condition called caffeine withdrawal headache, and it usually comes on pretty quickly when your body gets used to essentially developing a tolerance or a dependence on caffeine, where if you don't have caffeine over a period of 48 hours. The blood vessels in your brain are thought to swell a little bit because of the lack of caffeine. And when they swell, that pressure increases and you start getting one of these withdrawal headaches. That's the proposed mechanism. It's not 100% proven, but usually just having 1 cup of coffee on your off day will decrease the sensation of that headache if it is caused by a caffeine withdrawal. What's cool about caffeine is that while your body does build up a tolerance, getting your body to get rid of that tolerance is a fairly quick process, meaning just doing a few days without coffee will allow your body to get a really strong kick of caffeine on the 4th or 5th day when you actually reintroduce it. Pretty cool stuff. We've learned that through athletic trials. Emma, is it possible to cure vertigo? It can be treated. It really depends on what the cause of vertigo is. Because while vertigo is labeled as a condition, there's a lot of conditions that cause vertigo, and I like to consider vertigo more of a symptom. Very commonly, I have patients come in with a condition called BPPV, benign positional paroxysmal vertigo. And this happens quite frequently when someone changes head positions really quickly, where the little crystals inside their semicircular canals are kind of stuck or misplaced, and as a result, they experience this really severe sensation of vertigo that is short-lasting, but is triggered by some unique head movements. It's benign, meaning it's not bad. It's positional based on the position. And paroxysmal means it doesn't happen all the time. And for that, we actually do a maneuver called an Epley maneuver, where we can teach you to do it in the office, or you could do it yourself at home, where you aim to reposition those crystals in your ear and can actually help battle some of those symptoms of vertigo. But that's not the only form of vertigo. There's a lot. Is there a health risk to riding roller coasters or going to haunted houses where your heart rate spikes to super high levels? I would say there are probably health risks, more musculoskeletal than anything, being on a roller coaster, like jamming your neck around, unless you have a pre-existing heart condition or something. But if you're an average healthy person, having your heart rate go up is kind of physiologic. When I say physiologic, that means it's normal. It's not normal to have your heart rate go up to 150, 160 as an adult if you're at rest. But if you're in the process of being scared or you're running, it is normal for it to go up there. That's called physiologic heart rate range. That's why when someone measures their blood pressure, like standing and talking to somebody, I say that's not a resting blood pressure measurement, so I can't diagnose you with hypertension off of that. I need you to sit still, relax for 5 minutes, and do it properly as the CDC does it. Only then can you get a proper resting blood pressure, because that's what I'm interested in. Not the fact that your blood pressure adjusts to whatever exercise or physiologic condition that your body's experiencing. Is it theoretically popular to exercise so much and burn so many calories that you stop pooping? No, because there's components that you have to excrete. That's why it's called excretion. The more fibrous foods you contain, the more stool bulking supplements you take, the bigger your stools can be. And sometimes that's beneficial, sometimes it's problematic. It really depends person to person. This is why fiber supplements for some people can help get rid of constipation, and others it can cause constipation. So you gotta be really careful and toe that line very gently. Can stress cause acne? Stress can put you into a pro-inflammatory state. So to some degree can cause acne. Even if you just look at stress creating higher blood sugars, that absolutely can happen from a hormonal standpoint. And when you have higher blood sugars, you tend to have more inflammation in certain areas that can cause some acne. But is it like the #1 cause of acne? I would probably venture and say no. Anna, did you ever wind up getting Botox in your armpits to reduce sweating? No, I just made peace with the fact that I'm a sweaty boy. Bear's a drooly boy and I'm a sweaty boy. Kelly, Discord is, oh, thank you for being a Discord member. By the way, join our Patreon link down below. It's $9.99, but I don't keep any of that money. All the money gets donated at the end of the month, and it goes to a charity of your choice where we have a monthly live stream and we chat privately. No one can access it except Patreon members, and you get to chat in our Discord, all that good stuff. Okay, sorry. Is there any benefit to breathing in a paper bag when you're hyperventilating? Yes. When you hyperventilate, you can blow off too much CO2, and when you blow off too much CO2, that can create an acid-base problem in your blood, and it could cause you to pass out. But when you breathe into a paper bag, you're actually breathing in the CO2 back that you exhaled, so you don't lose as much of it, and as a result, you don't pass out as likely. You're not as likely to pass out. Sam Desoglas, who is your favorite superhero? You know, I never thought about that. Actually, I did. It's my dad. Aww. User VG, my wife got me an ear cleaning kit from TikTok that has a camera, a light, a rubber tool at the end. Is it safe to use? No! Please don't use ear cleaning kits. The only thing that may be safe to use at home that I would recommend to some patients are those like earwax dissolving drops, and then maybe the bulb to like flush things out. But even then, I would still recommend coming in to see your primary. Chimone T1 from Discord, what are your feelings on the TikTok ban? Okay, first of all, we need to set the record straight. No one is really gonna ban TikTok. Even the thing that's the bill that's being passed is not a ban. China owns TikTok. And what the bill that's being proposed is trying to do is to say that there should be a forced sale of the company to another organization, institution that is American owned. And there are legitimate reasons why we would want that sale to happen. First of all, I've been pretty vocal on TikTok being not great for humanity from like the short form content. I feel that they are less stringent with the algorithm and allow unsavory content that is damaging not just the youth, but all of us as individuals. I've tried to be a good presence on TikTok, but I've gotten to the point where I might even delete my own. So click here to check out the video where I debate that exact premise. Click here to check that out. And as always, stay happy and healthy.